is your party aware of depleting global resources for energy and minerals and things like that put constraints on what's possible to do?
You mean, am I see as Owen? Like, we live in a finite world, you know, and obviously infinite growth is not something that we can, like, realistically achieve. You know, and, you know, so when it comes to using the resources that we have, in order to have a certain amount of technology, we have to have a certain amount of extraction. I'm committed to make sure that any extraction that happens is environmentally sound, you know, doesn't, you know, end up destroying, you know, the world for future generations. You know, if we need vital minerals and resources that are locked in our ground, you know, we need to make sure that they are taken out properly, the right way. You know, so when it comes to things, you know, like, the world is amazing. It's full of abundance. And, you know, the natural state of things is to make sure that, you know, is to generate towards surplus. You know, you plant one seed one year and then you get a flower which has, you know, hundreds of seeds, you know, dozens or hundreds. And then you plant those seeds and then you get thousands, you know, and this is the sort of nature this is the beauty of nature, and this is sort of thing. Yeah, sorry.
So towards that, would you be in support of the human right to land so that people could have land to grow their own food, firewood, families, and businesses?
Yeah, I don't know what the specifics are with regards to the Declaration of Human Rights.
So it would be it would fall under security of person under the charter, and like, for example, even in Micah 4:4, because our charter is based on the supremacy of God. And then in the Bible, Micah 4:4, it's read every Remembrance Day, and like there God commands that everyone have enough land, like, to grow their own grapes and their own fig trees, and they will sit and unafraid, they will feel secure. So that is kind of the basis of security of person. And then considering that we have the depleting oil resources, we won't be able to do the industrial agriculture or have commuting
Well, not
to
on
work.
fossil fuels.
Yeah, exactly. And then we don't have enough minerals to do the renewable transition. And so we basically need a 20x reduction in energy use, and that would necessitate the majority of people, or at least half of them, growing their own food, and then having kind of rail or high efficiency means of transportation and things like that.
Yeah, obviously, I don't know where all the specifics are within the NDP, like what their specific programs and policies are with regards to some of these things. I know that I personally am a huge fan of human rights. You know, it's something that I've been inspired by for years. You know, and I, you know, my understanding of human rights is that it really does go beyond just humans. You know, I believe in, you know, that. Like, when I hear people talking about rights for all living creatures, you know, like, that resonates with me, and that's the sort of thing that I'm attracted to, and that's the sort of thing that I'm inspired by. You know, so when I hear, you know, of, like, applying human rights to, you know, to people in order to be able to, what did you say, engage in sustainable practices and stuff?
Basically, yeah. So grow their own food and firewood, families and businesses.
I mean, my personal opinion is that if we all went out into the bushes and the trees, we would destroy all land everywhere that's designed for wildlife, and we need to protect our wildlife as much as possible. So I'm not sure everybody going out and getting a plot of land is, like, there's enough land for everybody to be able to do that. So we need to make sure that, you know, we're able to feed people sustainably, you know, without, you know, and learning how to do it sustainably, you know, and that's one of the things that I'm committed to.
Yeah, it would be with a permaculture methods, because we won't have the energy
about,
to do the industrial.
What is it, the Four Sisters, you know, like, in terms
the Three
of
Sisters.
Three Sisters, thank you. You know, when it comes to agricultural practices, you know, these are the sorts of things that I think, you know, are valuable for us to learn, you know, and that we can learn from, you know, the First Nations, you know, land protectors, you know.
And on another topic, many people online ask me to ask if you're willing to let nurses come back to work who were fired over the mandates.
Oh, like with
the nurses and doctors, yes, who were exercising their bodily autonomy.
Yeah, I got a similar question at one of the last places there, and it may be a little divisive, but I certainly don't have all the details and an expert in the field or anything like that. But I know that my North Star is generally pointed in the direction of doing no harm to others. You know, and to me that includes making sure that, you know, where it falls on me to take responsibility for, you know, myself, and making sure that I'm not making other people sick. That's kind of where I start, you know, and that's just sort of where my North Star is pointed, is that we all have a responsibility to each other to not cause other people to die. It's that simple, you know, and I think, you there's evidence to suggest that vaccines help with that. So,
what is your number one policy that you would like to see implemented, whoever gets into power here in Grey Bruce?
Yeah, one of the things that consistently comes up when I talk to people is people are really concerned about healthcare. Everybody's asking how they're going to get a doctor. Everybody's are worried about if they're going to have to pay out of pocket for services that, quite frankly, they've already paid for. And one of the things that I'm really looking forward to doing is making sure that everybody in Bruce, Grey, Owen Sound has access to a doctor through family health teams. And the NDP is committed to getting the ball rolling on that within the first 100 days.
And with that, are you supportive of distributed or decentralized healthcare and alternative practices, like where people can self-diagnose and, like, say they have a large language model or something to help them figure it out, or kind of online resources?
Yeah, I know that the NDP is into flexible healthcare models. What they are specifically, I'm not too sure right off the top of my head. I'm really into making sure, like, community-owned, places. I think that health services that are owned by shareholders who aren't necessarily the stakeholders in what's going on creates like what I wanted out of a hospital is different than what a shareholder wants out of a hospital. And I'm very interested in making sure that that the interests of the community are being able to look after. And I think the best way to do that is to make community-owned healthcare services.
Closing remark?
Well, yeah. My name is James Harris. I'm running with the Ontario NDP. I'm here. We're running on to get people doctors. We're running to make sure that people aren't having to worry about how they're going to put food on the table. Yeah.
Just one last one I forgot was what's your solution to the housing and homelessness, since you didn't mention about the land?
Yeah. So the Ontario NDP has it's Ontario Housing plan where we're gonna get the ball rolling on affordable and accessible nonprofit and cooperative housing. We're gonna make sure that there are grants, low cost financing, to get the ball rolling on these sorts of things. We're committed to 60,000 new supportive housing. That's getting people out of encampments, that's getting people out of homeless shelters, and that's getting people into the kind of support housing structure that they need that's permanent. We're not going to kick them out after a couple of years or a couple of months. We're going to make sure that they get a permanent home.
All right, thanks. Okay, so finish your closing remark. Sorry.
No, that's quite all right.
Good.
Okay. Thank you. My name is James Harris. I'm running with the Ontario NDP, and I hope on February 27th you consider voting for me.